Most people, when they look at Michael, what they see is an individual who's very focused, hard driving, results oriented, no nonsense, let's get it done, let's make it happen type person. And he is that. The side that most people don't get to see of Michael is the side that I feel very honored to have experienced before I really even got started at Methodist South, is that very compassionate human being.
I think he's an awesome leader for a lot of reasons. He inspires, he coaches, he mentors. He's just one of the smartest people that I know.
Visionary is number one. He's an extremely hard worker, very fair, very interesting.
He allows people to grow and bloom, but he also leaves you feeling that I'm there to support you in where you want to go.
He's very calm, very, very cool, never gets nervous, and I get a little bit excitable with presentations. So before we went to ACHE, on the airplane there, I had 2 books that I was reading, one on building good PowerPoints, the other on giving effective presentations. And I'm scouring over these books, and I said, Michael, would you like to read a book on the way there? No. And about an hour and a half before the presentation, he called me on my cell phone and said, where are you? I think we should run through the presentation. So we kind of huddled up just right before the presentation, went through it quickly, decided what he was going to say, what I was going to say. We got there, place started filling up, so I felt a need to pull out my Origins calming lotion and put a little on my wrist and my temples. And I said, Michael, if you smell any eucalyptus, that's just me. This is my calming lotion. Would you like some? Get that out of here. I don't want any of that. And of course, he pulled it off just so smoothly and had a long line of people there waiting to talk to him afterwards about what a great job he did. So he's very calm.
Interviewed at Methodist South in September 2008. Was very impressed, wanted to join the team. Received the job offer, was very excited. And so I started preparing myself to make the transition. Part of that preparation was that I knew that it was going to be a while before I could refocus on myself and get a physical. So I decided to go ahead and get all that stuff done, had a complete physical, and it came back that I was diagnosed with colorectal cancer, which was a total shock. It blew me away. At the time, it was caught fairly early, but still I was going to have chemo, therapy, radiation, some surgery. And I thought, well, I can't start a new job. I don't even know if I'm going to live. I was real dramatic. I was just, So we made the call. I placed the call, and I told him what had happened. I was very apologetic. I was devastated. I said, I'm so sorry. I would have never accepted it. I didn't. I just found out, and I understand you don't want, I was, like I said, real dramatic, damaged goods coming to you. And I totally thank you for the offer. And he said, do you want to be here? And I said, yes. He says, Florence, we went through a very extensive interview, and we spoke to a lot of individuals, and you're what we need. He says, we're a hospital. We're a caring institution. I want you to come if you want to come. And I thought, am I hearing this right? And I looked at my husband. My husband, he's on the other side not hearing what Michael was saying. I said, yes, I want to come. Yes, I want to be there. And he says, well, come on. We'll deal with whatever comes up. And it was probably the best thing that could have ever happened because it made me focus that, hey, this is short term. You're going to survive this. You're going to get through this. And sure enough, I did. I mean, that's, to me, someone who didn't know you, to be that compassionate, that caring, and work with me as I had to go through my journey, my cancer journey. But because of that, I saw a very compassionate, very loyal, caring individual that most people probably don't get that side to see.
So when I interviewed with Michael, I was, at the time, I was the manager of recruitment services, and an opportunity came available for the HR director position at Methodist North. And I thought, I had done all the damage I could do in recruitment, so I thought, why don't I just move on to something else and see what else I can mess up? And so that's how I expressed an interest, and I interviewed with Michael. It was quite interesting because everything went well with the interview with Michael, and he talked about kind of his expectations and what, the team needed at North in terms of HR support. And I'd had the opportunity to talk a little bit about my background and kind of what I thought I would bring to the table. And so when we got to the end of the interview, Michael said, "So I think I got to have a good feel for you and, the bench strength that you would bring to the position. Is there anything that I have not answered to your satisfaction? Do you have any other questions or any other concerns?" And I said, "Well, actually, yeah, there is one little thing." And he said, "Okay, what? I'll be happy to address that." And I said, "Well, you see, Michael, I have a hair appointment every Thursday afternoon. 4:30, I have a standing hair appointment, and just want to make sure that's not a problem." And he just kind of looked at me and kind of put his head to the side a little bit, and then he sat back in his chair, and he just looked, and he didn't say anything. And so at that moment, I started rethinking, was that, maybe it wasn't really a good time to bring that up. I don't know. Because the room was just quiet, just crickets, and I just kind of waited. But the more I thought about it, I thought, well, of course this is a good time. I mean, this is a standing appointment, and I've had to wait for like 6 months to get that appointment. And so, of course, we need to talk about my hair. And he looked, and I said, and after some period of silence, I said, "So what are you thinking?" And he looked at me and he said, "Well, Ms. Ella, actually, I'm thinking that no one has ever said that to me in an interview." It all worked out pretty well. He never fully said, though, that he would be okay with that. But I think it was just kind of the vibe that I was getting from him, and I felt confident that he was going to be okay with that. I guess 2-3 months later, got a phone call. My phone's ringing, and I fish it out, and hello, and it was Michael, and he said, "Hey, you got a minute?" And I said, "Michael, what is today?" And he said, "What is today?" And I said, "The day of the week, Michael." And he said, "Oh, it's Thursday. So are you getting your hair done?" And I said, "Of course I am. I'm under the hair dryer, but I have a few minutes because, they just put a color on, and I got to get a little trim, though. But I got a couple of minutes, and so if you can just, spit it out pretty quickly, we can knock this out." And he did, and so it all worked out.
Michael is a terrific CEO, and his leadership, what I love about his leadership is that he's focused on what's best for our patients.
And he is very disciplined in business, but he does it for the right reasons. He does it to take care of patients.
And he always brings you back to, this is our calling. We're not here to make a lot of money and he said it before, that if you want to make a ton of money, you can probably do it somewhere else. This is not where that's going to happen. But if you have a passion for people, and if you have a passion for patients and for families and for making a difference in their lives, this is the place for you.